From an incredibly sour rant to his legacy crumbling before his eyes, Conor McGregor reacted to his 6th consecutive loss in TUF. Well, fight fans, I think it's safe to say that things aren't going well for the notorious Conor McGregor. Whilst it has been a while since he entered the octagon himself, he can't even seem to find success as a coach either. On the latest episode of The Ultimate Fighter, McGregor suffered his 6th straight coaching loss to Michael Chandler. And let me tell you, McGregor was not happy. Conor paced around the octagon like a caged lion, failing to contain his frustration. He made it very clear that he was not happy with the show's rules. Give them 3 rounds, lads. We want 3 rounds here, judges, yeah? This 2-round. It's 5 rounds for a world title. You ever had one of those world titles, Michael? You ever had a 5-rounder? Chandler wasn't fazed at all, shutting McGregor down. Yep, lots of them. That had to sting more than a shattered tibia. Chandler went on by asserting that his fighter, Brad Katona, didn't need a 3rd round. He beat McGregor's guy, Carlos Verda, in 2. Fights on the reality show are always 2 5-minute rounds. A 3rd is only ever needed in case of a split decision by the judges. I mean, to be fair, I think McGregor does have a point here. Longer fights would give more of an opportunity for fighters to show off their skills as well as feel each other out.
Rip that body. Get to the hook and circle it. Put your head down. Give me a pivot here. Give me a pivot here.
A 2-round fight means that the fighters are encouraged to adopt a way more aggressive style, which is good for TV ratings, but definitely isn't a great representation of actual UFC fights. That being said, it might be a lot to expect fighters to go a full 5 rounds in this tournament setting. I mean, UFC fighters often have a ton of time to recover between fights. It's pretty common. McGregor himself hasn't fought since he lost to Dustin Poirier back in 2021. To be fair, he broke his leg in that fight, which has taken him out for a while. But even before that, he'd only fought 3 times in the 3 years leading up to the fight. So it's a bit rich for him to expect his students to go the distance in a full 5-rounder every other week. To be fair though, McGregor isn't really asking for 5 rounds, he just wants 3. I mean, it seems like it can't really hurt to always go to 3 rounds.
This fight going to a 3rd round, but unfortunately the judges saw it differently, and the fight ends after 2.
McGregor's complaints continued as the referee prepared to declare Katona the winner over Vera. After McGregor realized he wasn't getting anywhere with Chandler, he turned his attention to UFC President Dana White, who was sitting outside the octagon. Dana, tell them 3 rounds, 2 rounds, the fight's not over.
It's not over. They're unfinished fights. If they go unfinished fights, give them the 3rd round. The guy's fighting for their life here.
White didn't even give Conor the respect of a response. Seriously, Dana just sat there and smirked as McGregor stormed back and forth. Wow, I mean, props to White for standing his ground and not buckling to the notorious. I know that I definitely wouldn't be as confident if someone like McGregor was getting pissed at me. You gotta also respect the sheer audacity of McGregor to complain like that to his boss's face. He's essentially criticizing the entire structure of the show.
Give them 3 rounds, lads. We want 3-rounders here, judges, yeah? This 2 rounds, 5 rounds, bro.
Well, I guess they don't call him the notorious for nothing, but clearly the guy isn't used to not getting his way. McGregor then stormed out of the octagon, but continued his tirade about his feelings toward the show's rules. But I mean, come on, man. 5 losses in a row? You can't really expect us to buy that it's all because of the 2-round fights? It's pretty clear that McGregor is getting worked up because he isn't doing that great on the show. On top of all of that, McGregor is currently under pressure to return to the ring. After the previously mentioned broken leg against Dustin Poirier in 2021, McGregor has yet to actually fight. He was originally slated to fight against Chandler as part of the Ultimate Fighter season finale. However, there is a bit of a wrinkle in that plan. See, in order to be eligible to fight, McGregor needs to be tested for performance-enhancing drugs by the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, otherwise known as USADA. But McGregor has so far failed to provide USADA with a sample. According to the UFC, he needs to be in their testing pool for at least 6 months before he can get back in the octagon. However, the plan was for McGregor to face Chandler in December, meaning that he has missed the deadline. Now people are pretty suspicious about his refusal to provide a test sample. I mean, it's clear that the guy has bulked up enormously in his time out of action. Just looking at him, it's clear that the dude is likely on something. So if he is trying to hide it, he is doing a really bad job. It's pretty common for people, especially athletes who suffer the kind of bone break that McGregor did, to use steroids to help them recover. There isn't anything illegal about that or even particularly unethical, but it really seems like McGregor is still likely on the juice, even though his leg has clearly healed. Why else would he not want to get tested? Because of McGregor's refusal to submit a sample, the match has yet to be scheduled, and it's currently unclear whether or not he will actually be able to fight at all. The UFC are allowed to make exceptions for fighters testing, meaning that McGregor could still conceivably fight in December. But who knows if Dana White will be willing to grant that kind of special treatment to McGregor. On the one hand, his return to the ring is highly anticipated. The McGregor-Chandler fight will make the UFC a boatload of scratch. But on the other hand, it will be a blatant disregard for the rules if McGregor is allowed to fight without being tested. I mean, it would just be White playing favorites. Not that he really likes McGregor, but he would be making concessions for cash. It wouldn't be a great look for the legitimacy of the sport. It is worth noting that McGregor does seem like he genuinely cares about the fighters he is coaching. Even though he was frustrated by the rules, he was seen consoling Carlos Vera, praising his performance in the fight. That was great work, that was great, that body kick was money, man, beautiful shot. Keep going, Carlos. Great work, my man. Proud of you, bud. McGregor really seems to feel for his guys who are out there giving it their all. He seems legitimately upset that these guys aren't being given the opportunity he thinks they deserve. McGregor was able to keep his cool, saying that he was just frustrated with these minor details, but it was pretty clear he was still somewhat agitated. Things have been going from bad to worse for him in recent weeks. He has been accused of assaulting a woman in a bathroom after Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Although he has released a statement denying the allegation, there is still an ongoing investigation. This was also the same day that he got in some hot water for a skit gone wrong. During halftime of the game, McGregor took to the court to promote his pain relief spray with the Miami Heat's mascot, Bernie. McGregor then punched the guy in the costume, which was part of the routine. What wasn't part of the plan was for the mascot to wind up in the emergency room. Apparently, the performer was okay, and McGregor clarified later that all was well between the two. But still, fans at the time didn't really know what to believe. McGregor is likely pretty desperate to get his career back on track, but it seems like nothing is going great for him at the moment. His credit as a fighter has taken a big dip since his leg-shattering injury against Poirier and the subsequent sheepishness to get himself tested to fight again. The fact that his guys keep losing to Michael Chandler, no doubt, is continuing to fuel tensions between the two as well. On top of it all, he is dealing with yet more criminal allegations. After so long out of the octagon, his return against Chandler could be a pivotal moment for his legacy. Will he be remembered as a star, or will it be made clear he is well past his prime? Hopefully, he can at least turn his coaching career around, but that too remains to be seen. So there you have it. From an incredibly sour rant to his legacy crumbling before his eyes, that was how Conor McGregor reacted to his 6th consecutive loss in TUF.